I'm gonna tell you right now that you don't need to be making content every single day to have a successful business on Instagram. The truth is, I make over 100K a month as a content creator, and I only make content in about 2 hours a week, every single week. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you exactly that, my 7 days and 120 minutes content system that I usually only give my paying clients. But there has been so much demand for this training that I knew I had to make it into a long video, so make sure that you watch this video all the way through until the end, because the final bits of it is the most important and the cherry on top. So the first thing you need to understand is that content creation is actually split up into 3 different parts: ideation, creation, and distribution. And I learned this from one of the greatest mentors I've ever had, Vanessa Lab. When we were on a Zoom call and she broke this down for me, I couldn't believe that I thought for so long when I'm sitting at my phone and I don't know what to post, it's that I'm not looking at it as 3 separate segments. So let me show you how I infuse this idea into an actual strategy that you can take away with you today. So part 1 is ideation. You should be constantly looking at social media from the perspective of a creator. And what I mean by that is actually scrolling your feed intentionally and saving videos that have performed well for your competitors. Now, I am by no means telling you to copy people, but what I am telling you is that there are proven videos that are performing in the algorithm, and as a creator, it is your job to be on top of the trends and really see what is working in the current marketplace. So for me, anytime I catch myself doom scrolling, because let's be real, we're all guilty of it, I instead use it as an experiment to do some research and development. And I have a folder on my Instagram page called Content Inspo. And then today I just created a new one for videos that I want to stitch or I want to duet. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create an ideas list in your notes app, because let's be honest, you get the best ideas at the worst times. And now that you're setting yourself up for all these different ideas, what you're doing is just reminding yourself that your brain is to generate new ideas, not to store them. So what I've taught you now for the ideation day is actually how to create a system to store your ideas so that they can actually manifest into reality. So part 2, and the most fun part, is creation. What do? Now you have all the ideas. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pull up your calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I want you to set a time block this week for 2 hours that you can actually use to create your next batch of reels. So what I do is I love to wake up early. That's when I do my deep work. So I wake up at around 5, and what I do is I block out 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. every Thursday to create my next batch of reels for the upcoming week. Now, when you're actually sitting down during this block, what are you doing? Well, you should already have videos in your camera roll that you can use for B-roll and actually use to create your videos. So the truth is, when I'm sitting down at 5:30 a.m., I'm not actually recording any new content. I'm just creating and editing the videos. And I've already have all of that set up because I have about 40,000 photos in my camera roll. Now, if you're saying, Julia, I have no B-roll content, I have no content to use, there's 2 things you can do. You can download some stock videos from an app called Social Stocks, which is the one that I use, or 2, you can actually plan a day to film a bunch of content. When I was living in Bali, there was this beautiful studio that I was able to rent for $40 an hour, and I got 6 months worth of content in just 2 hours, and I still use that content to this day. So in the editing phase, you're going to be adding hooks, you're going to be adding trending sounds, and you're going to be scrolling your feed to get some inspiration, because you got to get the juices flowing. And before we get into the final step, I want to know, are you a content creator? If you are, let me know in the comments and write, I am a creator. I would love to connect with some of you. I really focus on building a creator community, so I would love to just hear from you and get to know you. Now let's get back to the video. So part 3 is distribution. Now this is probably the most time-consuming part, but it really makes a difference. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna create your captions natively. Now this is actually what takes me the longest amount of time, but this is also where people really convert from passive viewers into paying clients. So you wanna make sure that your captions are valuable. Don't just be putting like a bunch of text because nobody wants to read that. You have to break up the text. You can do 1 sentence per line. You can use emojis. There's lots of different ways that you can break up chunky text and make it extremely valuable even though it's long. So when you're writing captions, what you want to do is you want to have some sort of hook as the first sentence. So maybe it's the word here with a down arrow, or keep reading with a down arrow. Then you want to set the tone. You want to set the scene. You want to start with a 3-act structure, right? So part 1 one is the character faces some sort of conflict, right? Movie producers use this in script writing. So what is the problem or the conflict that you had to overcome that now you're creating this video? This is how you meet your ideal client where they're at. And then step two is the value, right? The body, the value, the juice, the really exciting stuff, the tangible takeaway tips. You don't want to just be overwhelming people with information. You want to make it digestible so that they can actually walk away and do something with the information you gave them in the caption. And the last part is the CTA, the call to action. And what I call it is the triple threat CTA. So you have one call to action that says comment a keyword, and the next call to action says follow for more, and the final one says save this for later. Because actually what happens is the more people save your posts, the more you're going to be pushed in the algorithm. And when you say, Julia, what's a keyword? Well, what you want to do is you want to set up a funnel, and you want to set up a funnel to actually be funneling your viewers into some sort of freebie or opt-in, because these are leads for your business. Now, if you're like me, you probably want to know more about this funnel. How do I actually turn these eyeballs and these viewers and this reach, because let's be real, you're about to pop off and go viral, into paying clients? Well, that's the secret. It's the actual keyword funnel that we use that helped us generate over $1 million using a chatbot. So if you want to learn more about this, you're going to want to watch next week's video that I create that talks all about what I would do differently if I was starting a coaching business in 2024.